How do you explain, what is your doctrine on the origin of the Caucasian race?
Well, the Caucasian race came about, they're called white people, and they were white people. It was made that. Caucasian is a name given to the quality of the man, means originally bone and stale face. The person have a stale color, and his bones are weak, and the color Caucasian. But actually, he was made white. This was brought about, we would consider just recently. To talking into billions and trillions of years, the Caucasian race thereafter was just here of today almost. That took place 6,000 years ago.
And a guest, and maybe he could help me to convey a message to you. He's my friend. I like him a lot, and I'm going to tell you why I brought him in and why I think he's important to the future of you learning about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And his name is Yosef bin Asiel Israel. Salam alaikum.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, who appeared in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom righteous and holy praises forever due, we thank that great God for his coming to the wilderness of North America to raise up amongst us the first begotten from the dead, that special soul. I speak none other than the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. In those holy and righteous names, I greet you in the words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. We'll be right back after these quick commercials. Looking for something that feels good, looks great, and stands the test of time? Well, we have it for you. Black Royalty is our athleisure line that is made from the finest bamboo and cotton blend. We have designed high-quality tracksuit and t-shirts in multiple colors that provide you the most comfort when you need it most. Whether you're in the gym or running errands or just lounging around with loved ones, you need to be in the best quality clothing as possible. We have constructed a high-quality clothing line that does not break the bank, and we beat out all of our competitors on price. So please, if you're interested in being comfortable, not just in the gym, but when you're running around and doing errands, please visit blackroyaltywear.com. Also, you can find us on Instagram at Black Royalty. And if you have any questions or comments about our brand and how you can help participate, you can find us at blackroyaltywear@gmail.com. We'll be quick to answer your questions, and with our responses, we will be very thorough. So also, like I said, Black Royalty is for you because it was made by you with the intentions of serving you. So leave all those other clothing lines behind and get on what makes sense, something that's going to stand the test of time, because black don't crack. Looking to get the courage to get up and get out and do something this summer, whether it's just getting overall healthier state or lose a couple pounds for that beach body? Well, we got the answer for you. Summer Fitness Boot Camp, held every Saturday from June 1st to August 10th from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 39th and Cottage Grove at the football field. For a cost of $10, we put you through a rigorous training of functional and strength and endurance using only your body weight to get into the health that you need to sustain yourself long term. So if you're interested in getting your body more active and being a healthier version of yourself, come on out. Contact 312-646-8449 or 312-391-5234. Ask for Corey or Prince Yosef. Now this is the opportunity of a lifetime where you get expertise training to get in the shape that you deserve, not just need. Once again, every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. for only a cost of $10 from the weeks of June 1st to August 10th, 2019. Come out to 39th and Cottage Grove, the football field, where you can get into a better version of yourself. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back again to another installment of Know Thyself radio show, where we make it our duty, our business, our responsibility to give you nothing but the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And in doing so, we must, in this day and time, understand why it's so important to not just hear the messenger of God, but to take his teachings, implement them in our lives, and use them as a protective mechanism that will ensure our safety and longevity. Because we see every day the severity of taking our enemy lightly. We see every day the severity of not taking the time to be intelligent in our decisions. We see every day the severity of not having the ability to know thyself, to know the enemy, and know the knowledge of God so that we can be in a position to differentiate the two. See, that severity that I'm talking about is death. Death is imminent. Death is all around us if we do not adhere to the warning that God Almighty has given us. We are in a beautiful time because we are in the time of manifestation of defects. We are in a time that the knowledge of God has come to man again, the original man, so that we can be risen from a deaf, dumb, and blind state to be in a position to finally be free, to finally practice peace, justice, and equality, to have a nation of our own, to have a world that is incumbent upon the principles of life, liberty. You know, those things that America say they're based on, but in actuality, it's far from that reality. It's quite the contrary. See, America presents an idea of freedom, of justice, of balancing the scales and being fair. But in actuality, its implementation is quite the contrary. It is never and it never will be a place, long as the devil is in control, that you will be safe. There's no running from it. There's no way that you can make enough money to buy yourself out of it. There's no educational school system or institution that you can go to that will give you enough prestige not to be a nigger in their society. Why am I saying that? The last previous weeks, and I know I'm overdue for a guest, and I'm going to have one, inshallah, this upcoming week. A brother that is near and dear to me that I've been meaning to have for the past month or so. But this is beautiful that we get to have this conversation, because these things need to be articulated and spoken to. They cannot continuously be overlooked in our pursuit to fit in our pursuit to just be in a position that we're accepted, even if it's on false pretenses. We must at some point realize that our circumstances, even though we may seem to be acceptable in our eyes because, yeah, we got a couple of dollars, we got a job, we feel that we've accomplished some type of equality in a system, and we've come into a situation of prestige. The reality is that it's not there. And for you to even be in some type of false form of acceptance, you have to compromise and relinquish so much of the God in you that you're not even recognizable in the true manner that you should be as the original black man and woman on this planet. And I'm not going to be long, but I have to touch on this. Last week, I talked about the Amber Geiger trial, and I spoke to the reality of that white woman killing that innocent black man. But you got to understand, in a system of white supremacy, being black is the crime. You're already convicted from birth, long as you are a black man and woman. There's no way that you circumvent that. There's no way that you overcome that reality. Separation is not just inevitable. It's the only option. It's the only course of action. It's the only way we're going to be in a position that we're truly going to be able to live a life without the situation that murder and mayhem is going to ever be a prevailing reality. But not just separation physical or physically, but separation mentally and spiritually from the false ideals and the false ideologies that have been impregnated in our subconscious. We have become black-skinned white people. How do we know that? Because we don't do anything that's advantageous for the black man. The black man and black woman who's accepted the white man hates the black man more than anybody on the planet. It finds ways to not do for self. It finds ways to leave its people and to keep them in despair. And even when we think we're doing something that's advantageous for our people, it's only in unison and connection with what white society has deemed acceptable. I look at our brother Tyler Perry and the things that he's doing down in Atlanta with the studio, and he's making big moves. But that's good, and we applaud that brother for ownership and doing the things that he's done. But why do you think that's accepted even in that realm? The man has to parade around in a dress. He has to continue to promulgate a narrative that is counterproductive to the proper image of black people. Yes, he has been able to acquire certain things, but other black men and women have as well. But at one time, are we going to do the things that is necessary? We're going to build and create institutions that's separate from white society without compromising integrity and morals and principles, without blemishing the idea of what a black man should be versus what we have told to be through white society. So even that we have to take with a grain of salt. Though I said I commend my brother, but at some point we have to have men and women who stand on principle and moral, who show the proper context of a God and not a female when it comes to the black man. The only time one should act like a female if she is a female. And I'm not saying that to be disparaging, but I'm saying if we don't understand our proper role, the proper context in which we created, we're not able to function in a way that will bring and yield a positive result. Think about if the sea life, the wildlife, the fowl in the air all acted out of character. Think about if that bee didn't work and pollinate the flowers and tried to do things that other insects did. If it tried to emulate, the world would be in chaos. You wouldn't be able to survive. You wouldn't be able to live. What am I saying? The reason why we are in such distress, such chaos, is because we've been out of our nature, so teaches the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and it's time to return back to your proper way of thinking. God has came. You don't have an excuse no more. Now it's time to be who you ordained and created to be. Now, going back to the case, when we seen that brother of Belton John who got up on that witness stand, cried, told the audience, told the jurors, the judge, and Amber Geiger that not only did he wish prosperity on her, but he loved her. And he, in a perfect world, hopes that she didn't even get a sentence, that she didn't even have to go to jail. Then he got up and hugged her. We seen the bailiff get up and caress her hair. And later the judge, the presiding judge over the case, tried to get up and say that, well, she was checking her hair for paraphernalia or contraband, which was a blatant and outright lie. But that's how much or little that this people think of you, that even your own people, I said, who've accepted the white man, will get up and lie and disparage you in front of the adversary, thinking that you don't have any intelligence. She got up, the judge, the same person who lied and said the bailiff was caressing her hair, or she was caressing her hair, but said that she was getting up there to check her hair for paraphernalia and contraband, got up and hugged Amber Geiger. Also, she gave her her personal Bible when later interviewed in regards to that, when she was questioned by a sister named Tamara Hall on the interview, she told her she wasn't there for the law. Meaning, no, the law, as far as being just and right and being impartial, which judges should be, because they're taught to be with you. Matter of fact, there is no impartiality because they're going to give you a harsh sentence no matter what. You see the case with our brother Meek Mill, who was unjustly kept on parole with a black judge out in Philadelphia. But let me further explain. The jurors who said that they felt it was harsh to give Amber Geiger 26 years, that they wanted to give her 10, meaning she'd do 5, if that much. But we keep losing sight that this woman did not accidentally walk into that man's house. The door was not left ajar. She didn't mistake that room on a different floor from her own. That was an intentional murder. She went in with the precise understanding, and you can tell by if you do even the smallest due diligence of her past and her history, the racist rhetoric that she spewed with her and her boyfriend, who was buried on the force, who would say disparaging things about black people all the time. If you just do a little due diligence, you can see the reality of how her going in there, banging on the door, identify herself as a police officer, and shooting that black man because she's seen a victim. And that's the way that white supremacists, or white extremists, because all white people are white supremacists, but white extremists are able to get their badge by killing a black man. And what's the easiest way to kill a black man with impunity? Being a police officer. But because she wasn't in a situation where she could do it on the work schedule, or she was too impatient or too indignant, whatever the case may be, she said, I'm gonna bring it to his door. I seen this guy going and singing with white people, hanging around white people all the time. He's a sweet victim, as they say on the streets. And because of that, she went in and killed that brother. Now, why am I bringing this up again? Because the aftermath of me doing the last episode, the last podcast, we seen a brother named Joshua Brown, who was one of the witnesses in the case of Amber Geiger, who was telling the truth, had just been murdered days after the trial. What am I saying? I'm saying our actions, though we are so selfish in our desire to emulate and be intimate with white people, to be accepted, and because of that display of total ignorance and distastefulness that those jurors, that the bailiff, that the judge, and the brother performed during that court case, during that trial, it gave the green light for it to be a retaliation killing on that brother. And they're so ignorant that they used a drug case, or a drug case going wrong, or a drug bust going wrong, in the rationale and reason why that brother was killed. Saying that some other brothers came to buy some weed, left Louisiana, drove all the way to Dallas, and we talked about, and other people spoke about this, so I'm not going to go into detail, about how he skipped many cities from the small town that they was in, whether it be New Orleans, whether it be Shreveport, whether it be even Houston, to get to Dallas to do a drug deal for a couple $1,000 worth of weed, supposedly, that he didn't even have on him. And it was a drug deal gone wrong. Now, if it was any suspicion about this brother being a drug dealer, a drug user, they would have removed his testimony and would not allowed him to be a witness. They would have discredited him like they do everybody else. How do we know that? Because they even discredit us when we're murdered. Whenever we are killed by police or indiscriminately, or even if it's not by police, as you see with the case of our young brother, Trayvon Martin, they tried to make him a thug. They tried to make him a criminal. They tried to find ways to use this child's past to make it justifiable why he was dead. What am I saying? White people don't change their tactics. They use the same tactics. But we are so deaf, dumb, and blind that we can't even see it. And because we refuse to do something, why? Because we're fearful. We're scared. We're petrified. And because of that fear, we refuse to look at logic and accept anything that they say. And even if we say we don't accept it, we'll never do nothing about it besides talk about it, complain it, and move on to the next subject matter. Watch the next baseball, football game. Talk about what's going on in popular culture. Rap, hip hop, fashion. Is the new Kanye CD coming out? Did you buy the new Jordans? That's what our people's mind has been consumed of. So I'm here as the antithesis to that reality, to show you that we can no longer be stuck in that mentality and think justice and freedom and equality is going into the picture. I'm saying that murder was on the hands of those black brothers and sisters, the judge, some of those jurors, our slain brother, the bailiff, because that was a sign to show that if you retaliate, we will not. We will not participate in anything or any form of protection as it relates to our people. That's how far we have failed. I talked about it, I'm talking about it again. That's the making of the perfect slave. So I want to go, like I said, this wouldn't be Know Thyself Radio if we don't go to the Messenger's book. So I wanted to go to The Fall of America, page 20, chapter 3, Self First. Listen to this. Self first. We, the black people in America, do not think for self. Failing to think for self is the greatest mistake we, the poor black people who are up from servitude, slavery of the fathers, can make. But the slave master's children, our failure to think for self is wiser than anything their fathers could hardly dream of in their day and time. Now, I read this before, but I have to read it again because you have to understand what we're dealing with in this dispensation of time. Why this is so important, that if you do not think of self first, you could be the next one that's murdered. If you do not think of self first, you will lose family members. You will lose aspects. Even if it's not your physical life, you will lose the things that will give you a good quality of life, even though you don't really have it already. See, we can't exclude the reality of being inclusive or exclusive and not being inclusive, excuse me. It's okay to love self, to protect self. You don't have to be a hater of somebody else to protect yourself. Self-preservation is what's inculcated in every species on the planet. The fish, the birds, they all have defense mechanisms that govern their lives, that they are able to deploy no matter what. Even if it's the chameleon, it has the ability to blend in with its surroundings so it does not put itself in harm's way. But black man, you don't blend in with nothing in white society, so you're not a chameleon. You don't have the ability to play white and think that that effect of the predators won't come your way. Back to the messenger. Self first. In over 100 years, we the black people have not learned to think for self first. This is due to the fact that we try to think something for benefit of the slave master, something to make him smile at the free black slave. Trying to win the love of the white slave master has been the black people's greatest mistake. Now it has become our gravest mistake. It has put the brother in the grave. And don't think, even though that show or display of buck dancing and servitude and mammyism from those brothers and sisters in their trial will keep them protected, would exclude them from this terrible situation that will befall them sooner or later. You can't run from the enemy. Like I said before, death is knocking at the door now. You don't have to go outside. It will come and kick in your door and show its ugly face. As we look with our brother who was killed on his couch, in his house, watching television. Back to the messenger. To have love for them, the white race, means that the fire of hell that God has heated is being heated up for you both. You who love the devil and the devil too. Do not blame the white slave master for your love and desire for them above your love and desire for Allah God, who loves you, while the white slave master, the devil, does not love you, and it's evident. Amber Guy gonna be out in a couple years, back to killing black men. The devil's nature will not let him love you. The white slave master is so full of deceit that he can deceive you and all others. She got up there and gave those crocodile tears, and we ate it up. We drunk it up like soup. That's all we want. See, the black man's kryptonite is for a white person, especially a white woman, to say, I'm sorry. That's all we need to hear. She doesn't have to be sorry. She doesn't have to show any form of repentance. She doesn't have to change anything in their lives, her life, or in white society's life in general. Just to be acknowledged was enough for us to be in a position where we felt good about ourselves and that we were willing to compromise and jeopardize our lives and the lives of those around us just to hear those words. The white slave master is full of deceit, that he can deceive you and all others. Like the Bible teaches us that the Holy Quran refers to the white slave master, the devil, as the arch deceiver. As a deceiver, the devil has no equal. He is a professional, the wisest of all deceivers. So from the slave master, the preacher making parents, up to today, he is the professional and wisest deceiver of all the civilizations of the earth. And he has deceived us all and all the civilizations of the earth. The Bible teaches you that he deceived the whole world. The white slave master, the devil, did not deceive us, the black people in America alone. He has deceived every human being, well, except the angels of heaven, those who have the great discernment. The arch deceiver, the white man, has deceived the reverends that he has made, and this is why they will not accept Islam, which is peace, which is their nature. Back to the messenger. They will rather go to hell with the white slave master, the devil, if the devil will just honor them as a reverend. False acceptance. See, the messenger has laying it out for us, and it will behoove us to take heed to these words, but implement them in our lives that the devil has made. In the Bible, John, in the Revelation, sees the preachers as his followers burning in the hell fire with the devil, the white slave masters. I do not care how much you teach or tell the reverend that he is headed for hell in the following white slave master, devil. They will ignore the warning for the sake of honor of the white slave master. But when you look into it, you will see that the white slave master is not honoring the reverend, he is fooling him. The white slave master cares nothing about the reverend that he has made, and he thinks that the reverend is a fool for following him. See, white people don't respect you. They respect the one like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad who stands on truth, does not cower down or compromise or capitulate to their lies and their foolishness and their deceit. You're just like you're worse than the pet because he has more reverence for his pet than he does you. You're the lowest of his beasts, the so-called Negro. That's why it's time to accept self and reject your slave master. The word the reverend means to respect, but this is a false honor from the devil, and yet the reverend still and he will walk right into the lake of fire with the devil as long as the devil calls him reverend or father. Some of the devil's disciples are called father after the Pope, for the chief father of Satan's religion is Christianity. The Pope claims in the Bible that he will sit in the sides of the north and will be like the Most High. Isaiah 14th chapter 13th and 14th verse. And yet Allah God promised to pull him down to hell. Isaiah 14th and 15th verse. And Allah is going to pull him down real fast. Now we see in this day and time, and I'm going to stop there for now because I said this won't be long, but I wanted to touch on this, that we're going to hell. And we're going to hell in a handbasket. And it's time that we realize the severity of our decisions and the mistakes that we have made. You must put yourself first. You don't have any more time to waste. You don't have any more time to play. You don't have any more time to deviate from the truth that Almighty God has given to the messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. So I'm eternally grateful for God to revealing himself the man who appeared in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom holy righteous and praise is forever due. And I thank the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad for his teachings, but for his 44 prolific years of servitude to that God, to that vision, and to his people, so that we in this day and time will have a blueprint, a manual, a hand guide on how to continue to enact our freedom and to build a just world under the laws of God Almighty, whose proper name is Allah, who appeared in the personage of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom righteous and holy praise is forever due. I thank you for listening as I leave you in the words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum.